Mini Nutella stuffed pancakes are perfect for elevating your breakfast. They're super quick and easy. They're also great for a little snack if you're looking for something different, and they're just a really fun one to make for your family. So on that note, today I'm going to show you how to make them. As you can see in front of me, we've got all our ingredients for our batter, starting off with caster sugar, followed by plain flour, and then we've got semi-skimmed milk, some neutral oil. You can use sunflower oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, anything like that hasn't got a strong smell or flavor, and then baking powder. To start making our pancake batter, we're going to start by taking a large mixing bowl. We're going to be adding in all of our wet ingredients first, starting off with 125 ml of milk. I've got semi-skimmed milk today. You can use full fat, but I just prefer to use this. It's slightly healthier. It gives you the exact same consistency either way. And then once that's in the bowl, we're going to crack in 1 medium egg, followed by our sunflower oil or oil of choice. Once those are all in there, we're going to take a hand balloon whisk and just mix them together until completely combined. Once that's been completely mixed, we're going to move on to adding some of our dry ingredients, starting off with our caster sugar. We don't need a huge amount of caster sugar for this recipe, just because they're already going to be sweet enough from the Nutella filling. So we haven't got too much today. We've only got about 50 grams. We're going to add that in and then mix again until combined. The final ingredients are our plain flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And the reason that we add baking powder into these pancakes is because we want them to be really nice and thick and fluffy. And you'll see that when we cook these, they sort of rise up gently as they're cooking, and that is all down to the baking powder. So once those are all in there, again, we're just going to use our hand balloon whisk and keep mixing until combined. The good thing about using a hand whisk rather than a spatula is it's going to prevent any lumps and just make sure the batter is silky smooth. Once our pancake batter is ready, we're going to set that aside for about 10 minutes just to let it rest. And in doing so, that can help the consistency of the pancakes and just make sure they're really nice and light and fluffy. We're going to take a large non-stick frying pan. It does need to be non-stick for these pancakes. Otherwise, when you flip them, they're not going to seamlessly just come off the actual pan and will end up sticking. So it's very important. On a low heat, we're going to add in either some butter or some cooking spray just to deglaze the pan, and also just to make sure our pancakes don't stick when they're cooking. And then we're going to grab our Nutella biscuits. If you haven't got Nutella biscuits, you can use any of the kind of biscuits you like that are small and circular. So you could use Oreos. We're just going to put those on our counter at the ready or keep them by our kitchen hob. Then once your saucepan has heated up and your batter has finished resting, what we're going to do is take our batter back, grab one of the biscuits at a time, and then dip them in the pancake batter, making sure you let the excess drip off, as we do want them to be as circular as possible. And then add that pancake into the frying pan. I would say for now, just start with 1 pancake, because the first one can always be a bit temperamental. You never know how the first pancake is going to turn out. So rather than adding in more and wasting the batter, just do a little test one for now. It's good to sort of gauge if it's too cold or too hot. So add in one of the pancakes and let it cook for about 2 minutes on one side, and you'll see little bubbles rising, and that is how you know that it's cooking well. And then once you think that side is completely cooked, take a spatula and then gently flip it onto the other side and then do the same thing. You can also put a saucepan lid over the pancake, which is just going to help it cook a bit quicker. It's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes on both sides. Just keep checking it so that it doesn't burn, and just keep monitoring the temperature of your saucepan and the hob. If you think you need to adjust it a little bit, if they're looking too white, then slightly increase the temperature, and if they're looking a bit too dark, then lower the temperature a little bit. And then once that pancake's done, put it onto a cooling rack or a plate just to cool down. Then you can start doing 2 pancakes at a time while cooking. I would only recommend doing 2 at a time in total, just because sometimes the batter can start spreading out, so you don't want them to all become one giant pancake essentially. But it just gives you better control when you're cooking them as well. So continue this process until you've cooked all of the pancakes. They're not all going to be the exact same shape and size, but that's absolutely fine, because they ultimately still taste absolutely incredible. And then once all your pancakes have finished cooking, just let them all rest on your cooling rack or plate until they're fully cool. A top tip when you're heating up your saucepan is I would always recommend starting off on a lower heat rather than higher, just because pancakes can actually burn and become quite dark very quickly. So it's always better to err on the side of caution, and then you can always gently raise the temperature. But if it's already too hot, then you already risk losing and wasting those pancakes. And so that's how to make the most delicious mini Nutella stuffed pancakes. These are so satisfying. They're so delicious. We've got a gorgeous crunch in the middle from the biscuit, and then that Nutella spread inside, followed by a super light and fluffy pancake. These are so good for dipping. They're perfect for breakfast or a snack on the go, and they just taste absolutely amazing. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make these today. If you did enjoy the video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you have any other baking suggestions. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week for a new video.